Wow, wow, wee, whoa. It's J-Ship here. You clicked on this video because you want to know how to get started in Bridger Western as of what, like April 15th or something it is. I don't know. We're not stopping to figure out facts. We're showing you how to do this quickly because that's what you care about. And if I don't do it quickly, we're going to lose your attention. Step 1, we're going to sort by ascending. We're going to click load more. We're going to go to, you want to honestly find some bacon hairs in here. You want to find people who are farming, because the big thing here is you need at least 3 people on the server. Well, optimally, you could do it with 1 person on the server being alone, but ideally you want to have at least 3 people on the server, and having like up to 5 or so is only more advantageous because of the fact that it's going to be a better chance for having a corpse part spawn if you do not have a stand already. I'm going to go ahead and put on my poncho and hat. I unfortunately rolled a new poncho and my drip is bad. So if you're just starting out, you're going to pick the hideout as your starting point. I believe you start with like 500 or 1,000 moolah. You're going to want to go over to this guy over here. And you're going to want to talk to him. You want something to throw. You want dynamite. You want 10 dynamite. You're going to repeat this until you have literally as much dynamite as you possibly can hold. There, like, you might want to save a little bit of money for some other things, but I'm gonna assure you this will make you the most money you possibly can right off the bat. So you're gonna want to buy as much dynamite as you possibly can hold. I can assure you no amount of dynamite is too much dynamite. You're gonna want to press H. That's gonna summon your horse. Your horse is not gonna be as cool as my horse. Look at my horse is amazing, etc. meme. We're going to be running out of here. If you're not sure of where this outpost is and you didn't choose this as your starting point, we're going to run out here, and you should start to notice this if you've played a little bit. If you haven't, that's okay. Here's going to be the fishing spot. Over there, you can get a fishing rod and bait, and you can start fishing if you want to try and get a stand shard that way. But we're going to take our horse, and we're going to run on over here. I want you to remember this route as well, because we're going to use it for when we run out of the vault. Like I said before, ideally you want to find a server that's got like 3 to 5 people on it because you have a better chance of a corpse part spawning. And if you don't have a stand already, there's a good chance that while everyone else is AFK farming, you can just go get that corpse part for free. All right, you're in the town now. Now, how are you making all this money? Important step I forgot is be an outlaw. Should have been apparent when I said spawn an outlaw hideout, but you want to be an outlaw. Honestly, there's not really any good reason to be an in-law unless you just want to PvP nonstop. You're going to take your dynamite, you're going to throw it at the safe. You're going to take a second dynamite, you're going to throw it, you're just going to start walking away. The second explosion's going to explode it, you're going to see that you're going to get 100 bounty, some random items, and Moola. If you've noticed, you already have, watch this one. We're going to do this one again. So this is going to be the route as well. You know, 200, almost 300 moolah right there from that one. Keep in mind, granted, I already had dynamite, right? But we spent, what, 100, if that, getting all this dynamite? Oh, that one was already hit once. All right, here's an important step. 1, you don't have to do this fast. These respawn every minute. And in fact, after you have looted these chests, which is an important step, these chests respawn every like 10 minutes or so. They're going to give you a lot of things, especially dynamite, which this is basically an infinite money and item farm. So you're going to come in here. This is going to be your 4th and final chest. Going to be in this room. You're going to yeet on your dynamite over there. And then we're just going to go on over to this building over here. This is going to be your final chest. Big things about these chests is they can contain some really high importance items. Obviously, the dynamite's going to be really nice because it's going to restock you. Because every time you're throwing dynamite, you are throwing 3 dynamite as an outlaw. And it's not like that isn't just free, right? Like you don't throw 1 and it throws 3. It throws 3 every time you throw them. The big thing as well with the saves is it actually takes exactly 4 explosions to break it. So you're always going to have to throw 2 volleys. But as long as 2 from each volley hit, you're going to be perfectly fine. So like I said, You don't have to do this fast. So I'm going to walk this whole time. We're going to walk over here. We're going to throw again. You can do a little dash if you want, but it's honestly not needed. We're going to throw it this one, back out the door. Keep in mind that if you are on a server and people are server hopping trying to find people with high bounties and stuff, you are going to be making a lot of noise. They are going to be able to find you. These safes or chests or whatever are not going to be respawned. They take a little bit longer. So you can just walk around this way and go straight over to this safe. Big thing also, sorry about those chests. You want to loot them as much as possible, and you can only loot them if there are at least 3 people on the server. So that is why you want at least 3 people on the server. You also count for that. So if you see 2 people, look, oh, it just respawned. Literally, in that is just showing you don't have to run, you don't have to be fast. In fact, just walking is honestly a better pace for this. Look as well, we're getting like 12 dynamite sometimes from these, so you're spending 6 dynamite to get 12 dynamite at times. There you can see I literally threw it as it was respawning. So like you'll eventually hit a pace where you're basically just slowly meandering between these, blowing them up. You'll notice my money, it's about to be, yes, we have hit maximum cash. That is 50K. When we got here, I had what, like 43, 44, something like that. That's how quickly this money is. On top of that, again, these chests over here are going to contain very important items such as dogweed, right here, or sorry, dogbane herb. Big thing about this is you're going to need it if you get a bad stand from a corpse piece or from an arrow. If you get too old, which right now I'm kind of old, you can use it to reduce your age by 20. It's quite nice. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to show you robbing the bank real quick. I'll show you where you get this makeshift explosive. So you can rob the bank every 8 to 10 minutes or so. So what I like to do is just stand here. It gives you a good view if anyone's going to try and counter you. If anyone does, I highly recommend dynamite and Molotovs as your first defense. Once it explodes, you just want to dash in here. It is very loud. I'm sorry. You're going to pick up all the cash. I'm not going to lie. I have no clue where my horse is. So I'm just going to put it away. We're going to recall it. I like to just sit it outside of the front of the bank, honestly. Now we're going to take, this is the route I take every single time. We're going to go straight through the mines. Normally I don't hit that pole, but you know, it'd be what it is. You're going to make your first right, your first left. You're coming out here. I have a very fast horse. As you can tell, I've maxed out my money. I've been just rolling for horses nonstop. And this horse is pretty goated. It's got almost 1.4 speed. If your horse doesn't have a ton of stamina, or if you're worried or whatever, you can go behind that area and regen stamina there, or you can just do it here. I like to take this route as I find it is the most out of the way. You're most least likely to not have one run into you. You're going to go right there. If you go left, you are going to get stuck unless you jump. Come in here. You're going to press F to horse melee, N to immediately get off your horse. You're going to talk to this man and you're going to give him the money. This does have a chance to give you a arrow shard. Here's one I have. I got it from doing this. So you're saying, how do I rob the bank? Well, this guy right here that I just turned the money into, you need $1,000. You buy it. Congratulations. You can now rob the bank. Now, this has been your very quick setup guide for I want to start the game and I want to get money as fast as possible. Literally repeat that. You're going to be having a chance to get arrow shards. You're going to be having a chance to get dogbane. You're going to have a chance to get the silver dagger, which a lot of people want. I'm going to be honest, I keep getting too many of them. They're very annoying. I don't want them anymore. But you're going to be getting a lot of those. You're going to be getting a lot of other useful goodies like cooked food, extra Molotovs. Look at, I started this grind with 0 Molotovs. Look at all these Molotovs. I use them in combat now. Same with dynamite. I use dynamite in combat now because I just have so much of it. like if you ever run out, just go talk to that guy over there, right? He'll get you more. It's very cheap. So now you're thinking, I have all this money. What do I do with it? So if you have your starting horse, I would honestly just recommend coming over to this guy, and you're just gonna want to look for something that costs more than like $1,200 and says like it has good legs or it's a beast. You want it described really well. We'll try and see if we can roll something real quick while we're at it. I mean, ideally you want a legendary or mythical horse, right? But if you're just starting out, just get a horse that has good speed and good stamina. It will carry you so far with corpse pieces. I'm gonna be honest, I got my corpse piece on a server that had like 10 people on it. It spawned, I walked around the corner, there was like 9 people fighting, I picked it up, I got on my horse with like negative HP and I rode away, and just the speed and stamina got me to get away long enough that I got my stand. So, again, we're just re-rolling here. You can see every time you re-roll it costs $20, but you're gonna have infinite money, so it doesn't matter. I've spent literally over $400,000 in the past like 2 days just re-rolling nonstop on horses because I've been trying to farm a mythical. If you just saw there, that one was an expensive horse that said, now that's a good horse or whatever. That's what you're gonna be looking for your first horse. If you already have a mythical, a good horse, and you are scared of one, overriding your horse, step 1, just scroll down immediately. There's still a little bit of a slither you can click. Just try to click down here or something. It's safer. That way you don't have to worry. Now you're like, oh, I already have a legendary horse, but I really want to try and fish for a better legendary horse or a mythical. Which I want to point out here, I went through 3 legendary horses that were worse than normal horses that cost like 1.3k until I got this god horse that I have right here, Quiet River. Actually, like, insanely good. The only thing I wish it had was more stamina. But like, I'm at the point where I'm trying to fish for a mythical horse, which you're gonna see these little brackets. Those are gonna be a legendary horse. If the brackets are full encompassing on both sides, that's gonna be a mythical horse. So, like I said, if you're just starting out, I'd recommend just getting a good starting horse. Now you're thinking to yourself, well, I want a mythical horse. You're just going to spam the ever loving crap out of this button. You're thinking, but what if a legendary mythical shows up? It will not let you re-roll it. Period. If you walk away for long enough, it might go away. But I've rolled a legendary and just like gone and robbed banks and come back and it's still here. That being said, if you're rolling down, I would still leave a few thousand just in case you need to buy the horse, right? Just in case you don't want to lose your chance. But like I said, if you're just clicking, it will not let you re-roll it. So you can just spam this as much as you want. You can watch a movie and just keep slamming on it. You run out of money. Oh, I accidentally sent my horse away. But say you run out of money, congratulations. It's time to go back to the town and repeat what we're doing. Now, instead of going back to the town, I'm going to show you the other useful thing you're going to want to spend your money on. Obviously, you're going to want to buy a poncho, and also from doing this, you're going to get a metric ton of blueprints. Just fish for legendaries. Just fish for legendary ponchos. The poncho stats are going to be down here. The big thing is normal ponchos can have up to 10 total stats. So like their stats will equal 10 in total. So like you could have, for instance, 5 defense, 5 damage. That will be your total allocation. If you get a legendary poncho, it will allow for 15. So you could have up to 15 in one, or like 7.5 and 7.5. And on top of that, it re-rolls how it looks as well. So if you want a really good drip and really good stats, you're unfortunately going to have to roll for a while. And the re-rolling is not super fun, I can't lie. It's a lot of clicking and interfacing. It's not AFKable in the slightest. You're also in a... Oh, please go away. Undead, I do not like you. So we're heading over here. Past... I mean, you saw the route I took, right? But we're heading to the witch's hut. The witch's hut is going to be an important place for you for many reasons. If you're old, which I am, I'm gonna use one of my dog banes real quick. Be really careful when you're doing this if you have a stand, because I don't know if there's a confirmation on wiping your stand, but here's where you can do that. So you want to spend your dog bane that you got from those chests in town. You're gonna say, anything I can do for you. In here, she can reset your stand. You can get a measly amount of money that you can print in literally seconds down at the town throwing dynamite. Or you can restore your youth. It will restore 20 years. As of right now, permadeath is not implemented in the game, but allegedly going over 70 in the future will have a chance of you dying permanently. I'm honestly hoping they don't do that and they remove the permadeath and just have other kind of consequences for getting old. But that's me. Now, here's the other thing. You might have been seeing these cards up here, right? You may be thinking, what are these? Well, this one over here gives me passive HP regen. If you don't have this, when you get shot and stuff, you will not regen HP. You need to like drink either tonics or eat food or other things in order to get it back, right? In order to get these cards, you're gonna come to this lady. You can do this freely without any like worry of losing your cards. So you talk to the lady, you're gonna say, read my fortune. I don't remember exactly how much it costs, but you're gonna have infinite money, so it doesn't matter. You're gonna click on all the cards, and they'll have different effects. If you are tier 3, which you're gonna, unfortunately this doesn't give experience, so you are gonna have to do some fishing or chopping trees in order to get some experience, but you are gonna wanna grind to tier 3, because what happens is each tier unlocks a card slot. So at tier 1, you get 1 card, tier 3, you get all 3, right? And you can do some cool combos. Now you're like, I don't like any of these things. You just click on one and you reject it. Congratulations. There's some really cool things you can get here, but different place, different time. Other people probably have videos on all the cards, and in fact they do, because that's how I figured out what the cards do. And I mean, congratulations, you're set up. I pointed out where the fishing place was already. Go buy a rod, buy bait, grind out your experience so that you can get tier 3 and get your cards. In the town is going to be where you're going to buy your downloading, processing, buffering. This buffoon has spent more time talking about buffering than finishing his sentence. But in the town, you're going to find your weapons and stuff. Figure out what works best for you. For a while, I was running the Winchester and a Tommy gun, and the cards that give you auto aim when you press this button, which is X, which lets you have ocular powers. It kind of like slows down time a little bit and highlights enemies a bit more. With the card combo, it also guaranteed my shots hit, but it was just kind of bad. So I've swapped it out, and I'm trying a more melee focused build where you'll notice this one, it might be a little hard to read, but this one says 30% gun accuracy decreased, but apparently that only applies to like the revolvers and stuff and not rifles. So I mean, honestly, you can see here, I'll hop off the horse, shoot there, line it up again. The accuracy, if it is affecting this at all, is not, it's not noticeable, and you gain 20% extra saber damage. You can 3 to 4 hit someone with this. Also, you may be wondering, what is my stand that I got, by the way? It's soft and wet, and it has some cool abilities, but if you guys want to see that kind of stuff, maybe leave some likes, comments, and we'll show you what that's like. Maybe do some PvP and whatnot with it. But at this point, you're going to be wrapping up your journey to getting started in Bridger Western. You're going to be able to start just doing the things you need to do to not just get completely stomped every time you're on the server. I honestly highly recommend using lower population servers as much as you can starting out. You're going to avoid getting randomly killed by people who have time stop stands and just simply want to ruin your day. And you're going to be able to farm and do all the things you want to do a lot easier. people may try to clown on you for not going on the big servers. The experience on the big servers is you just getting pounded into the dirt by 9 people of the world and their friends who are shooting at you while your time stopped. It's not great. You're not doing much. You're honestly going to be wasting your time if you haven't gotten set up in some way. Here's another guy as well for re-rolling horses in the town. On top of that, I'll show you real quick. This is where the Ponchos are going to be. This guy can also re-roll your drip if you don't like your shirt, your outfit, your something extra is my glasses. I think it can. I've seen it be like a piece of straw in the mouth. I've seen scarves. There's a bunch of different stuff. This lady over here, who I've seen several YouTubers say, wowzers, she has great animation. Maybe Roblox standards are just like actually garbage, but like, bro, it's not a good animation. She's just moving slightly, I guess. Like, what the heck? Anyway, so you'll give her your blueprint. You may be going, how do I know if my poncho's good? You're gonna press your M button. It'll say here. It might take a few seconds to update. Here's the thing, is if you've been farming these saves, you're gonna have a ton of blueprints. Don't even worry about the normal ponchos. You're gonna keep clicking this button until it says legendary. And then you're gonna wait till your stats pop up and you're gonna figure out whether or not you like your stats or not. That's that. In here's gonna be the inn, pretty much just only useful for buying tonic, and sometimes you can, if you're being chased by people, you can lead them in here. You can throw some dynamite at the floor, and if they follow you in, they'll just end up getting hit by the dynamite, and you can flank them and whatnot. Oh, gun store. So in here's your gun store. You can get most of the guns you care about are going to be in here. Something that'll last is going to be your basic like pistols. I'm gonna be honest, the Taurus you start with if you're an outlaw, honestly really good. Sheffield, I've never used it myself, but people say it's basically just a better Taurus. I've stopped using the revolvers myself. I might go back to them at some point, but right now I'm heavy with the Winchester and the Saber. So the Winchester's in here. The Malcolm, a lot of people talk about it being really good because it's a sniper rifle. I want to warn you right now, this will lock you in the first person. So if you're in third person and you aim, it will aim down sights, and then when you're out of the sights, you are in first person. So unless you want to constantly be swapping your perspective or you wish to play in first person, I just would not recommend using this gun. It is really good. You can one-shot people with it, basically, if your build's correct. And even if your build's not correct, you can basically two-shot people with it. Like, it is good, but if you don't want to be swapping perspectives, I would just ignore it. Tommy gun has a really crazy recoil, but the big thing with it is you want to spray and pray. You don't want to tap it. Tapping it will have worse recoil. When you fire it, after like a second or so of firing, the recoil will become a lot more manageable. So when you're using the Tommy gun, you basically want to get someone stunned and just start spamming it into them and just holding the trigger straight into them. At this point, these are probably reset. Honestly, if you see people join the server, sit for, oh, cool, they're here and they haven't been taken. If you see people join, stay for like a minute or two and leave, they've probably taken these chests. A lot of people will server hop for them, but these chests are honestly going to be some of the most important things you're looking for in this town. You're going to line up your cooldowns around these chests and the bank robbery for your optimal use of time, because like I said, the bank robbery does give you a chance for a shard so that you can get a stand that way as well. And that's it, pretty much it. Oh, actually one last thing is in here is where you're going to get your advanced poncho and your cowboy hat. So you can come in here. They also have lassos, which you can use to stun lock people. But I'll be honest, most of this stuff you can just ignore. The advanced poncho blueprint, I guess you can get it for free or pay money, I don't know, but you're gonna have infinite of them from doing the chest. So I would personally, poncho, cowboy hat are mandatory. Cowboy hat will save you from one headshot. Poncho, you need to have it on to get these stats. On top of that, if I did not say before, these stats are percentiles. So I have basically a 9% increase to my damage, a 4% increase to my defense, a 2% increase to my speed. As far as I'm aware, these do not transfer to your horse. You do not get a faster horse. Actually, I can test this real quick. Gotta wait for my horse to come back. So I had a different poncho before, and I was going 111. If this affects it, no, it doesn't, because I had a poncho that only had 1 speed. At the speed I'm going, if it did affect it, I would be going 112 or 113 instead of 111 from the poncho effect. So it does not affect your horse. But yeah, so to recap your checklist of what you want to do when you first spawn in, if you're made it this far and you're still a little lost or you want to go back and rewatch, that's perfectly fine. But spawn in outlaw. Go to the outlaw hideout, buy dynamite. Come here, blow up the safes, hit the chests. Get enough money that you can buy the makeshift explosive. It's $1,000. Go and rob the bank. You're going to want to rob the bank and the chests as much as you can. It's going to be roughly 8 to 10 minutes for each of those, and you're going to want to hit the safes in between that. When you get close to max money, which is 50K, you're going to want to roll your horses. Not hold them, roll them. You're going to spam that button until you get a legendary horse that's worth a lot of money. Or give up, basically. If you're just starting out and you just want a good horse, aim for something that costs over $1,200 and look for it to say something about it having good legs, being fast, that's a beast. These kind of things you want to look for. They will help with your horse. If you manage to get a legendary horse, it will allow one of your stats to go above 1.25. 1.25 is the maximum stat you can get in anything on a normal horse. On a legendary, I'm told they can go up to 1.45. If you get a mythical, 2 stats can go above 1.25. So the god horse theoretically would have 1.25 in everything, and then it'd be a mythical with a speed of 1.45 and a stamina of 1.45. That being said, getting a really slow horse with high stamina will feel worse than a really fast horse with medium stamina. Because when you're really slow, because the stamina usage is based off of time, not distance, you will be effectively using your stamina worse off than someone who is faster with a little bit less stamina. Because they will be going further, and on top of that, when you are faster, my horse's base just walking speed is almost 50, which I'm pretty sure is close to the starting horse's running speed. Like, and so I start sprinting. You see, it's not distance based. It's just timer, right? So you stop. You'll still use a little bit as you're slowing down, but after you get down to a little trot, you'll start the regen. So the faster you are, the faster your speed will be when you're regenning as well. So, like we said, you re-roll your horses, get a good starting horse. After you get a good starting horse, you're not going to be able to roll horses again for another like 10 minutes or so. That's when you're going to want to roll your cards. I would recommend going for survivability starting out. Try and get the regen card. There's a card called Sturdy. It'll increase your life by 15%. There's a card that increases your defense when you're under like 40%. All of these survivability cards are really good and useful as a baseline. There's basically no time they're bad. If you figure out something you're more interested in though, like I'm trying out swords right now, so I have 2 sword-based cards, right? It's just kind of going to be what matches your play style. And yeah, that's been Matteo Zeppeli, J-Ship's guide on how to start out in Western Bridger Western. And is there an in-law on the server? No. Wait, there is. Okay. So if there's an in-law on the server, you'll know because there will be bounties up. As you notice, the bounty gets high. I've had max bounty is 10K. When you start getting really high bounties, you will occasionally get people server hopping who know you're doing this, and they will try to get your bounty. It's not the end of the world. Obviously try and fight them off if you can, but you know, if you lose, you lose. You gotta improve at some time, right? But keep that in mind. That being said, if you have an in-law friend, there is a chance when they turn in your bounty, they can get an arrow shard. So if you're farming this and they're farming something else, and you just want to like be able to basically get them a bounty every time you max out, you could just do that if you wanted, right? But yeah, so no, I unfortunately tried to draw this out a little bit. I know we're doing a lot fast, quick, hard, etc. so forth, but I tried to go quick in this because I know we all have small attention spans, especially in the Roblox world. But I was hoping to draw it out a little bit longer so that possibly a corpse piece would spawn, but on these smaller servers, it is a lot rarer. That being said, if you're sitting here and you're farming for cash nonstop, you're rolling your horses, you're rolling your cards, you're buying your starting gear of, you know, your poncho, your hat, you're re-rolling different drip and whatnot, right? You're gonna go through this money pretty quickly. So while you're doing all those things, there is a good chance that a corpse piece will just end up spawning at some point. And like I said, this guy's probably cutting a tree. This guy's probably cutting a tree. This guy's probably fishing somewhere. You have a very good chance of getting an uncontested corpse part. Yes, it takes time, but do you think you really have a better chance on the 30-person servers where you're going to have 9 people of the world stopping you in time while 3 other people sit on the side throwing dynamite at you and then you die and you're sad? Exactly. In fact, it's just not worth your time to go on the big population servers until you get set up as a baseline. I'm gonna be honest. But that being said, if you enjoyed this guide, if it's helped you, if you're making $1 billion and you have a legendary horse and a mythical horse and a golden legendary poncho and 100 kill streak, consider shouting me out to your friends to also help them get started on their journeys in Bridger Western. That being said, this game does not respect your time, so don't respect it. Don't feel bad about going on these small servers and grinding so that you don't get raffle stomped by people of the world nonstop. People of the world will try to tell you their stand isn't that good while you're literally sitting there stopped in time waiting for knives, dynamite, and Molotovs that end your existence, and they still have time to type to you during all of that. And they'll tell you it's not busted. It is. Time stop stands are busted and everyone has them. That's that. Yeah, that's the guide. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for letting me thank you. I hope this guide gave you all of the info you needed to start in this very confusing game that doesn't tell you any information and makes it so that you actually stick around for the part where it gets kind of interesting and fun. Because the part where you're fishing for 2 days straight trying to get an arrow shard and it never happens, it's not fun. And I get why people are like, wow, this game is stupid and I hate it and it wastes your time. Because I would feel that way if I spent 3.5 days grinding for an arrow shard and then I got like the most garbage stand of all time, right? I was lucky that the first stand I ever got was soft and wet. Wait, yeah, soft and wet? Yeah, soft and wet. Which is a lot of people really want. I've had people trying to trade for it with time stop stands. I've had people trying to trade for it with a golden experience. It's very good stuff. As far as trading and stuff goes, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't super figured that out. I know you need to get like a specific item, but I'm not your guy for that yet. If you want me to be your guy for that, I can try and maybe figure it out and make another video. But that being said, this is carried on for long enough. Oh my goodness, it's been 36 minutes. I feel like I'm gonna have to cut some of this out, but maybe not. Maybe it's good that it's this long because it shows 36 minutes to get your account started, basically, with a little bit of rambling. That being said, I'm finally leaving. I'm ending the video. Hey, so literally while we're like editing the video I was working on that you were just watching, I was just waiting and this course speech just spawned. You can see this guy. So this guy's literally, oh. Oh. I'm not gonna kill, oh. Well, it's a left arm too. I'm just gonna leave it here. Wait, can I steal it? I don't think I can because I have a stand already. Yeah. So I got a sad update. That guy never came back and never got the piece, so we never knew what it could have been. Sad. But, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Tried ending it 3 times. I'm ending it for real now. The video has ended right now.